when you get a cancer diagnosis, everybody's like scared to talk to you about it. They don't know what to say. I'm gonna cry. I have to be strong for her, but I'm scared. Like her kid already, her first daughter, it's gone. That's hard. Boo-hoo. I'm crying again. Are you gonna cry too? Oh my God. What is happening?
It's all contagious, whether it's negativity or positivity, success. Definitely the toxic stuff is contagious, and there's just no room for it.
People are pushing me lately, I might end up on an episode of Snapped because I'm just like tired of it. I feel like my bullshit meter is topped out at the top.
Ooh, you on one today, huh?
I want to go to a rage room. We've just dealt with like a lot of hate recently. I can't believe I freaking cried again. And you almost cried. Your lip was quivering.
It's hard for me to talk about that.
Welcome to the Wife Approved podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm Caroline.
Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode. What's this, episode 11? I think it is. Yes, we've passed 10 episodes. How's that feel?
I'm just impressed you're keeping up with the numbers.
Oh, what does that mean?
I don't know.
I can't count?
Yeah, basically. No, I don't know.
Yeah, 10 episodes.
Pretty good. Like, when are you going to lose count, you think?
I don't know. Well, I label
20.
each one, so I don't think I'll lose count. I'll label each one when we post them. So, how's everybody doing? We are back with another episode. It's been a busy week here for us.
That is an understatement.
Yeah.
I wonder if everybody feels that way or if it's because we work for ourselves. Like I remember feeling like that when the kids were little. I do remember feeling like busy. That was just so long ago. I feel like I have so much to do and not enough hours, time, or the bandwidth to do it.
Yeah. I've felt like that for quite a while, but I've been doing this like YouTube thing for quite a while. So,
but it's not just, it's like work, it's business, like our business, and then it's personal life too. It's not just, it's just a lot.
I remember feeling like that even before we had, our own quote unquote business, like taking kids to practices and, I remember Kobe had baseball practice when he was traveling. And it was like,
Yeah, but we had like 9 to 5. So it was like we worked and we were done.
Yeah, but I think I still feel like
it.
super busy because, I remember I worked all the way on base
I remember being really tired.
Yeah, I worked on a military base. And so that was, 45 minutes, no traffic, which meant is usually a good hour or so one way. And then
remember when I worked in Jenkinsville?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For 2
and then
years.
Driving all the way home and then having to go to practice. And those practices were like every day. It was crazy. It was like nonstop. And
yeah, it is. So I guess imagine if you're feeling that way with kids in practice and a 9 to 5 that you can clock out of, add your own business onto that.
The difference is the mental drain, I think, when you have your own business. At least for me, it is. Like, and part of it's because I love what I do, but I think anybody that probably owns their own business, it's just something they're always thinking about, and there's like always something else to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I don't know. For me, it's like, and two, part of it is that we work from home for the business, for our business. So it's even harder to shut off. If you have an actual office or studio or whatever where you leave to, you can shut the door, go home, but
it's not hard for me to shut that off. I'll shut it off. It's not shutting it off, but it's the to-do list that piles.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about that part of the business, like the financial part and the taxes and the just all the things that.
Well, not anymore. I used to.
Yeah, it's a lot. Anyway.
I used to do all that.
Yeah, this week's been wild. Pretty wild.
Oh, we got
and I think it's going to get worse, Like, what do we have to do today? We got to plan for Black Friday. We have to plan for CES, which is in January. I think I'm feeling a lot like I'm already not caught up, like business side. And I know that busy season is here, and we're about to start getting hammered. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm not ready. Like I'm complaining when it's like just the beginning of Q4 and it's about to really ramp up.
Yeah, I think maybe for you on your side, what you do, for me, it's always the same. It's
Yeah,
like
but
that.
see, like
It's like
add
this all
in
year long.
holidays, Thanksgiving,
Yeah. Well,
Christmas,
then you got all the
both kids' birthdays, October, November.
yeah, all the personal stuff on
Oh,
top. Yeah, you got the holidays and the family stuff and all that. So yeah, it gets a little crazy. We got Halloween coming up, and we're right in the middle of cheer season, which is like
yeah,
insane.
it is insane.
At least cheer competitions are only on one day. Like when we did travel baseball, my God, I'll never forget that.
That was
Like
pure misery. I mean, it was fun because we were with awesome parents. Like I still miss a lot of
the
them, and like yeah,
relationships.
making like memories and like bonding, and like I consider some of those people like still like they're very dear to me. I think that was fun, and Macy was just constantly outside,
Hmm.
so that was great. But like 4 or 5 games in a weekend was miserable. It was
Insane.
miserable for those kids. They were in
It
elementary
was
school.
Saturdays and Sundays when you did travel ball. Yeah, like minimum 4 games a weekend. Sometimes the
5.
games, often, sometimes 5. Often the games were like separated, hours in between, which,
We like lived at the baseball
oh my
field.
gosh. Yeah.
Macy loved it though, man.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of good to it also, but it just, and then when you work 9 to 5, you drive an hour plus to work every single day, Monday through Friday, and then all you have is that weekend. I mean, we stayed behind. You never had any time to do anything around the house or either one of us, back then, because your whole weekend was gone pretty much. By the time you get home, you're too tired to do anything on those
Well,
baseball
that's what it feels
weekends.
like now with the business. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like I think tonight we should have a cleaning party. I think we have to, and we
need to
start
clean.
with the bedroom because that's your thing. But like, yeah, I just can't do it all.
Yeah, we need to. Well, I know. I've been trying to clean up some this week. The boxes pile up, and yeah, kids don't pick up shit, which don't help.
Nothing. Little shits.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just got to take them in. I think, a big part, like I think now, like, how in the world did I do
3
a
jobs.
9 to 5 job for as long as I did while doing, I was basically doing YouTube sort of, essentially as a business or whatever, full time, putting out content on the regular. I did have kind of a cap of like only so much that I could do every week, but I put out at least one video and then as much other content. Just still live streamed every week, did one video.
Yeah, and
every
you had
week.
a full-time job, but you forget about ERA. You had a part-time job too.
Yeah. Well,
You were doing all 3.
yeah, well, that was the first one to go, was the part-time job. So I did that for a long time. I always have just like worked a lot, to try to
You're a
make as much
workaholic.
money. Well, it wasn't that
It's both. It was for money and it was your workaholic.
I didn't work, I was basically a graphic designer for this big real estate company all throughout South Carolina. I did all their graphic design work and some other things, but mostly that. And I did get to work remotely for that, which is nice, so I was able to do that on top of my 9 to 5 job. But yeah, I didn't, as much as I love graphic design and stuff, I wasn't doing that for fun. I was doing that because you were stressing out at one point years ago about money. And I was like, all right, well, I got to go make some more money somehow. And I did a bunch of freelance work, and I kind of landed on that as like a reoccurring. I ended up being a part-time employee technically for them. So, it worked out well. But yeah, when YouTube started taking off, that was the first thing to go. I was like, okay, I can't do all these things, so I'm going to cut that one out. And after years of doing that, cut that out, kept my main 9 to 5, and then just focused on YouTube and the rest of my time. But yeah, my point was like, I look around at all the stuff I'm doing now and like how busy I feel. I'm like, how did I even have one 9 to 5 job on top of this,
I don't know.
It's
I'm
kinda
wondering if
crazy.
it's because we're getting older and we're not able to handle it as well. Like we were doing a lot back then too. Like we described it, and I'm just like, is it because we're getting older that it feels more overwhelming?
No, it doesn't feel overwhelming for me, right? Sometimes it does. Like, don't get me wrong, I have my moments, but it doesn't feel overwhelming for me right now since I quit my job. So, that'll be next for you. in order to like be able to manage all this stuff, and manage your sanity, really, because it got to a point, like I remember when I quit my 9-to-5 job, I had a date in mind and I was going to go the rest of the year. My job kind of, it would like ebb and flow with the amount, like the workload and stuff. I was a creative there too. I, worked on creative projects, so it would kind of come and go as far as the workload goes. It was a great job. I loved it. But it got to a point where there was a really big project coming, that I was going to have to be the lead on. I don't know if we talked about this before or not, but
We're old, so we probably did. And I don't
Maybe.
remember.
But yeah, it got to a point where I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to manage and take on this big project that I was going to have to lead, and not let, YouTube suffer as my other quote unquote job. I hate calling it a job still.
It's your job.
It is, but I hate calling it that. I make money. It's how I make a living, but it just doesn't feel like a job still.
Well, I love that for you. It feels like a job for me. And it never won't. Why does that sound so weird? That's not right.
That's right. It never
No.
won't feel like a job.
Never won't.
Yeah.
It never won't feel like a job. That sounds so country bumpkin. I don't think that's correct.
You are Southern as hell.
Never won't.
It never won't. Sounds like that double negative.
Never. That is. It won't ever. There.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That's that South Carolina education system right there, working hard.
Well, I thought it and I wasn't going to say it. I like froze though. And I'm like, wait.
Yeah. Well, that's because you don't have anything that you are freaking passionate about.
No, isn't it
which
sad?
is sad.
My family.
That sounds
I'm passionate
like
about my family. That's what moms do. Like, that's just like what it is, like anything I love to do was probably cheer. Like, that's what I was, I love that. Competition cheer, like tumbling, like all that was my thing. I did that as an older teenager, and then I got pregnant. And guess what? Like, I didn't have time or money to go be at ACX. Like, it was gone. Like, the
Right.
passion was gone. Like, I had a job to do.
right.
You know?
Well, that's how most people work. Most people work doing jobs that they aren't really crazy about.
I don't mean
which
that.
sucks,
Yeah,
but-
well, I don't mean that job. I mean, like, I had kids, and like your passions and stuff like take a back burner.
I got kids too.
Well, look, like, and then I grew up and like I'm not gonna be able to go cheer after I'm like 23, 2 kids, and break my
Yeah.
back. And that's just what it was. It's like, it's a lot of people like they go to college for sports and then they graduate college, like, and it's a real thing. And then you just don't have that sport anymore. That was your
Well, a
passion.
lot
And
of
then they struggle though, like
People
with
find
finding
other
something.
passions. Most people, unfortunately, can't or don't make a living with their passion. But still, I think most people have some sort of passion. You just
I don't know. Listen, I feel like let somebody comment. Like, maybe it's a man thing, or
It's not, because there's women too. I think maybe it's a left or right side of the brain type of thing,
Yeah.
a personality thing, but I just for me, I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, I don't know, like, I've never been driven by money. Some people are, maybe that's a passion, just making as much money as possible. That's never been a passion for me. Like, for me, like, I remember being 10 years old and like realizing that people, you got to make a living one day. And I was just like, ever since then, when I was 10, it's when I started drawing a lot. I was like, I've got to figure out a way to make a living, to enjoy what I do in life. And that stuck with me to this day. Like, I just, more than the money, like, living a life where you can't do something that you enjoy, at least not hate it. Like, at least don't hate your job.
yeah, that's rare.
But so many people do, and that is a life of misery, and a life like without any kind of passion for like hobbies.
Dude.
I think it's like a hobbyist thing.
No,
like,
it's not. It's
Well,
artist in you.
maybe,
That's
but
the
you
artist
just don't have any
brain.
hobbies. But there's a lot of people who aren't artists.
But I would
that
never
have hobbies.
But I would never be like, oh my gosh, like, I've got to find a job doing something I love. Like, that just isn't how I think. It was like, I'm just practical, simple. Like, I'm like, I had no idea what I wanted to do. You were 10, and I think that
Yeah.
I love that you have that. Like, I'm not knocking it. Like, I think it's great. But you were just like a deep thinker, and you're like an artist, and like, you know, a lot of like what Mima, you know, my grandmother is that way. She's an artist, and she was, you know, she had a job at DNR doing what she loved, you know, artsy stuff, and she painted, and like she did all the things. So like I saw it. I saw somebody like with that, but I don't think like her. And I was an artist. Like, I was very good. Like, my stuff got in the fair all the time. I was very good at realism, like her, like how she can paint a person.
Yeah.
Like, I won all kind of things, and then I quit doing it. You know, I just didn't love it. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I'm just simple, I guess. You know, you make fun of me all the time. I mean, I like to play pickleball. You want to take me to play pickleball?
Well, what if you could make a living playing pickleball?
Right.
When have you ever played pickleball?
At Mariko's.
With Mariko? Oh, okay.
She has that pickleball net.
I've
Were you
never
there?
played.
You didn't play with
No,
us?
I didn't get to play.
Oh my God, it covers the whole cul-de-sac.
I've never played pickleball.
Okay, so this is, to me, it is like old person tennis.
I was about to say it's like tennis for old people.
Yeah, remember we tried to play tennis like when we first started dating? I think.
Yeah,
like
we did
went
for a
and
while.
we didn't. We went once, and we were.
No, we did more than that.
No. We went once. It was behind Irmo High School. I'll never forget. And it was just me and you, and we were so whipped, like from chasing the ball, because it was just me and you. You know, it's usually like 2-on-2. We're not good enough to be 1-on-1. I don't think I ever hit it when you hit it to me. And I was like, we were like, fuck this. You know,
I'm pretty sure.
No, we did not. And those
We
racks,
even got tennis rackets and everything.
those rackets sat in our garage forever.
Yeah.
We didn't. We did it once. It was too hard. Anyway, so it's like that, but there's like rules, like it has to bounce, and
There's a lot of young people that play pickleball too.
I love pickleball.
Okay, well, I need to go and play sometime then.
Yeah, I'd whip your ass.
Let me get an invite. So she has a temporary setup?
Well, I mean, it's like a long, it rolls out into the cul-de-sac, and you're supposed to put down lines and squares and all this stuff, but you know, you're not doing that when people are driving. Anyway, pickleball is fun, but
all right, I'd be down for pickleball. You think she'll be up for playing pickleball anytime soon?
I sure hope so. I haven't heard from her today. Yeah, yesterday was her last chemo. We went to that. My best friend had stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. She's 38 years old. That has been going on pretty much all of this year. I think she officially got diagnosed shortly after her birthday, which is in January. So just turned 38, has a 2-year-old. And of course, you know, Malia, God, will Malia be 22? About to be 23, I'm not sure. Who passed away, but just young and by all accounts healthy. But she, you know, that was emotional, I think, for me yesterday. That's probably part of my mood.
Your mood today?
Yeah, because you know, like
Well,
everybody
thing.
was like crying yesterday, and
she rang the bell.
Yeah,
right?
she did.
So,
well, that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
That just means her chemo's complete. It means something to her because it means it's done.
Right.
But that I always thought before I was like deeply enthralled in the cancer world that ringing the bell, you know, meant like
no more cancer.
Yeah, like the cancer was gone.
I always thought that too.
But she has to actually, you know, get another scan here in a couple weeks to make sure. And anyway, just watching her cry is what almost made me cry yesterday, and my eyes welled up. But then I fought it, so I'm doing that thing that I do, and I've just realized that I do this now. Is I just keep it all in, and and she asked me, she wants me to cry. You know, she's like, "Did you cry?" I'm like, my eyes watered, you know, but like watching her dad cry and watching like all of our friends cry, most everybody there was crying, you know, and I just let my eyes fill up and then I fight it. And I think it's like, I don't know if I live in fight or flight mode or if I feel like I have to be strong for everyone. I think that might be it. But like, I probably should have just let myself cry. Why don't I let myself cry? Like, I probably should just let it out.
Well, we've been through this before in a
I know.
past episode.
That's what I said. It's just who I am.
You're the, you know, you're the one, whether it's your fault or somebody or not, you know, you're the one that everybody goes to.
But she wants me to cry, and I still didn't let myself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Mariko isn't like, you know, anyone I was talking about. We're talking about family, but I just, I think I was talking to her before she was diagnosed with cancer, actually. Like, just with like life and how hard everything is, which is life, right? And I just remember telling her, I feel like I can't cry anymore. Did I tell you that?
Maybe at some point.
Yeah, like I feel like I just can't cry.
Nowadays?
It was earlier. It was like this year, maybe.
Damn it, Joe.
It was Joe.
In the dang
Gosh.
motorcycle. I told him to stop driving that motorcycle through the neighborhood while we're recording.
I think it was
Sorry.
actually cancer diagnosis. It was this year, yeah. So it was like once we figured that out, and then I told her like I can't cry like about anything. And now it's like flipped. Now I feel like I could cry at the drop of a hat alone.
It's because it's all boiling up inside.
I know,
all the
I just hold it
time.
in.
Yeah. I could say the right thing or the wrong thing, however you look at it, and you can start crying. It happens, I guess, when you keep it all in. You just got to let it go sometimes.
I know. That's why I said like maybe if I would have just let myself cry yesterday.
Maybe hitting a punching bag would help.
I want to go to a rage room. I got
punching bags work.
I got a couple faces I could tape to some of the shit in there and just bam. Actually,
is one mine?
No.
Okay, good.
I saw a girl doing so the rage room closed. I seriously looked into it because I think Mariko needs it, right? Like she's full of rage, so much shit.
So much, God.
But I saw a girl doing it with pumpkins and a baseball bat, and like it was supposed to be funny, but she like beat the hell out of it, and it was like a reel. And their friends were like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Like she just like kept beating it, like she just went in for it.
Well, that
that might be good.
That makes me think of this. Maybe guys this whole time have had it all figured out. Everybody talks about guys are not emotional or sensitive or something. Maybe we just let it out better. Like what you just said right there reminded me of, when I was younger, we would go, I haven't done this in a long time, but we would go like shoot watermelons and stuff with shotguns and things like that.
Yeah, but guys keep it in, and that's not good.
Well, maybe you letting it out like that, hitting a punching bag or shooting fruit with a shotgun. There's something extremely satisfying about,
No, I don't need a gun. I want to hurt it with my hands. People, people are pushing me lately. It's like just strangers. Like I guess you won't call them strangers, but people in general have just been so shitty lately.
Yeah, there's been a few instances.
There has been. I mean,
people sometimes suck.
Yeah, and it's directed at children. Minors at that. Like you can come at me, girlfriend, all you want. Let's go. Do not come at my child. And so like that, I've had that going on, and anyway. But back to Mariko. I just try to be so positive, and I think that's important. I know George had, Langabeer had given me some advice for her, because he's been through it, just to stay positive, and that's really hard. Period. Even if you have had a perfect life and you have a cancer diagnosis, but especially when, you've had the years that she's had, it's just been one blow after another, and not just small blows, catastrophic type stuff. To now be fighting for her life, and for me, I'm gonna cry.
Damn. There it goes.
I have to be strong for her. But it's so hard for me to not think about if she doesn't make it. You know?
Well,
I'm strong and I'm positive, and so is she, but I know she's thinking it. I'm not gonna bring it up to her.
Yeah.
But she's thinking it because she's scared. And it's the when you get a terminal, not terminal, but when you get a cancer diagnosis, everybody's scared to talk to you about it. They don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now, I'm so happy she's done. And, I've researched some alternative treatment for her just to keep it going. That's worked, that's been proven. And she's going to do all that. But I try to be really strong for her, but I'm scared.
Yeah.
Because she's one of those people, if something happens to her, then what, her kid already, her first daughter, it's gone. If I lose her, then what? That's hard. Boo-hoo. I'm crying again.
I'm gonna get you some. I need to keep a tissue box.
No, I've got them.
You got some?
I thought it might happen because I knew we were talking about chemo and Mariko. I
Okay.
want to like be on here crying, but like this is real life, the real shit that I deal with and have to, go on. Like life goes on. Like, we have 2 kids and we have all these jobs, but it's something that bothers me like every day. And I know that she feels like so alone and isolated in this treatment process. She's like basically been like a hermit. I mean, she lost her hair, she lost her eyebrows, she lost her eyelashes. There's chemo bloat that happens. She feels like her body's on fire. Like she drank alcohol, and she doesn't want to be around anybody. And that's understandable, but like, it's just very isolating and alone. And like, for me, like, I don't see her as much, I feel like I don't get to talk to her as much or be around her because she can't, because she's sick. And
I feel like, I tell you this all the time, I feel like she's like the third voice in this house. I feel like you talk to her plenty. No. Every time I
don't get to see her as much.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding kind of, but not really. Like I hear her almost like she's I think of her as like another smart speaker in my house. I like always hear her voice because you have her on speakerphone all the time, and I'm walking.
Or FaceTime.
Yeah, I'm walking through the house and I hear her voice all the time. But you've been there and like, went to a lot of treatments with her and try to, spend as much time with her as you can, I think.
Well, just advocate for her, like it's October. I think it's like breast cancer month or cancer month. And it's so frustrating to me. Like I've seen all these tags, like all these businesses, like putting the pink ribbon, like all these food companies and makeup companies and laundry detergent. I mean, you name it. And they're like, oh, breast cancer awareness, support the, like pink ribbon. How about just take the shit out of our food and drink and makeup?
Wow.
Like, how about that? That's like, I've changed.
Well, it's not, the business's faults for doing that,
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, some businesses it is, but just.
No, I mean like the companies that are putting the stuff in it. Yes.
All the shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't mean like a company that, I mean companies that are responsible for the ingredients in everything we use, because her type of cancer is directly tied to like formaldehyde. Ladies, if you don't know that, if you're in the hair industry working with hair dye, or if you get your nails done all the time or you're a nail tech, it is correlated. So I would say like just be careful there, but it could be anything.
That's
it
why
could be in food.
Doing your nails.
It's part of it, yeah. And I did it for her because she took them off too. So she was like, I'm not going to be looking ratchet next to you. And I was like, I'll take them off with you, but I don't think I'll continue. It's in the nail polish, formaldehyde. Again, who knows if that's what it really was, but I've really tried to, me and Macy have tried to like really clean up everything. I'm trying to be as clean as possible. I'm not going to like go crazy, but I have tried to like eliminate a lot of the products I was using, like on my face and my neck and my like just lotion and deodorant and like toothpaste and like just, I've cleaned us up a lot.
Yeah. It sucks that you have to think like that and you have to do that these days, but there's definitely something going on. I think, there's just so many young people younger and younger seem to be getting cancer all the time. And it's just crazy, man.
It's in the food, it's in the water.
And how many, like, have you seen all the little reels and short videos and stuff that are saying like, well, I ate it when I was a kid.
The ingredients were different.
And then they show the comparisons of like Doritos, in 1990 versus what they are now. And the ingredient list is about 4 or 5 times as long. And there's all kinds of stuff. And that's not just Doritos. That goes across the board, pretty much everything.
M&M's, cereal,
like
it's everything.
All kinds of stuff. And in the U.S. is specifically bad about this. I think Europe does better.
Yeah, a lot of the ingredients that are proven, I mean, this isn't like a guessing game. Like these ingredients are proven high-risk carcinogens.
Right.
And they're banned in the UK, wherever, and they're not here.
Yeah.
And then you got government allowing these companies to do it, to poison us. Well, why are they doing that? Oh, well, because pharma. And, it's just like a vicious circle, and I won't go deep into it. We could save that for another episode. But I hope to have Mariko on here one day. I don't know if she ever will, because I think she has, like, her testimony, I think, is powerful. Yeah. She's such a good person. She's like, everybody's best friend. And I don't mean that like she considers like she has a million best friends, but
Everybody.
everybody loves her, and she makes everybody feel like she's their best friend.
Yeah.
Because she is that just awesome. I don't know how, I mean, I'm envious.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I mean, even I don't know if I told you this, but even the damn nurse yesterday, she came up and said something to me. She was like, "Hey, husband," or whatever, because she knew you from coming in there so many times.
Mariko shows her all our stuff.
Oh, like
when she sits in the chemo chair. Yes.
Well, she came up to me and she was like, she said something like, "I love your wife and all this stuff," and she was like, "But I told her that I'm Marika's new best friend," or something like that. So like she said basically what you're saying. Like they love her, and all the nurses love both of y'all. They said that about you too. The other one did too.
Well, they can't like leave me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But they were like, she's our favorite person that we've ever had in here and stuff. And yeah, man, it's been tough. Like I can't just imagine, I've been saying that shit about her for years. I can't imagine what it's like to go through the stuff she's gone through. And that was before cancer, and now having something else. Like I remember when we heard the diagnosis, like I just was like, Jesus, how much can one person take? Like what? Sometimes life just dishes out stuff that isn't fair. Some people just get, a fucked up hand, really. It seems like, she lost her child, which was literally like right after she kind of went through
a divorce,
a pretty ugly divorce, which was difficult, and then lost her child.
Other things,
the stuff started kind of looking up a little bit. She was obviously always going to deal with that trauma, and everything, but or that loss. Had another child, later, a little bit later in life, and then finds out she has cancer. I was like, God, how? That's just not fair, sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I think her and I have both asked the question, but I know she's asked, like, what did I do wrong to deserve it?
She's asked that, or
yeah.
You have?
I have too, but she definitely has, I mean, she was a badass kid, but nothing, nobody deserves, like, nobody that doesn't justify I'm like making a jokey joke, but she did give her parents hell.
Yeah, I don't think there's any rhyme or reason, like I said, some people are just dealt a difficult hand, and I don't know why. I do believe, I heard once that God never gives you more than you can handle.
I don't believe that.
And I mean, I don't know. I kind of do.
I feel like that somebody just made that up. Like that's just some inspirational speaker trying to make that up. I think it just is what it is.
Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, she's handling it. I'm not saying that it's easy or whatever, and it's horrible, and you never hope anybody has to go through half of the stuff she's gone through. But, she, like I've said many times, like, and you said she watches this, so she's going to hear me say this. I hate to admit it, but nah, I love her now. We had some rocky moments in the past, years and years ago, but
I think that was on you.
Long time. I don't know. She was not.
No, that was on you.
She took a little while to kind of mature, if you will. But anyways, she's a great person. But I've said, just the way that she like I kind of get emotional. I'll try not to get emotional here myself.
Are you gonna cry too? Oh my God.
I hope not.
What is happening?
When she lost her daughter, which was just hard on our whole family. It was hard on everybody. Obviously, nothing like what she went through. But I just remember, like, to this day, her being so just kind and positive to everybody. I mean, obviously she was sad and depressed and it was horrible. But the fact that she still, like, treated everybody like with such kindness was kind of inspirational, you
Yeah.
know, because you have heard or know of people who have suffered such, like somebody who's gone through that, I feel like kind of has every right in the world to just be an asshole to everybody they come across.
Yeah.
And you would almost be able to justify that, you know, and we've probably known people who have been through that and do act like that.
Yeah, my aunt and
But
uncle are one of them.
she still is like, thinks about everybody else, you know, and is, you know, she wants everybody to be happy and pleases everybody, even through all that, which I thought was crazy. Like, I just, you know, I don't know how I would be able to handle that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know she's like clicking her heels when she watches this or seeing her talking all these good things about
I know,
her.
that's
And
what
she's
I
probably
don't-
flipping. She's probably flipping her little wig hair, like you know, making VJ watch it 100
Oh
times.
yeah. I'll never hear the end of it now that I said all that.
I know. I'm just ready. I'm so happy for it, you know, for this to be over, you know, and I'm going to be positive. I just get emotional thinking about, like, you know, obviously, like, I can't predict the future, but it is like a fear and a worry. And she's going to, you know, we've talked about it. She's like, anytime I get a little pain, I'm going to be like, oh my God, is it back? You know, because it was like back pain. You know, it wasn't like your typical, like, she almost like didn't continue to push the doctors. No, like something's wrong. I'll say advocate for yourself. And that's really why I was like with her a lot, not only because I love her, but to advocate for her, because I ain't playing games with these doctors, you know?
Yeah.
You really have to advocate for yourself. These doctors are not magicians. They are not any smarter than you. They went to school to learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G, step 1, step 2, step 3, surgical, whatever, but it's a guessing game.
Right.
You know, like your intuition about your own body, you know, and you know when something's wrong. It's like a mother's instinct, you know, like we can just feel it. So I will say, like, you know, advocate for yourself. And I was her advocate, you know, Pitbull maybe, but just, you know, that's why it's just so hard for me. Like, I feel like we've just dealt with like a lot of hate recently, like just like what we were talking about earlier.
Just random people.
Well, not just random people, like family and random people. And I'm just like, you know, like you have no idea like what anybody else is like going through. And like, I always try to keep that in mind when someone does like lash out or is hateful. And I try to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe they're like going through something. Like I always tell my kids that, like, you never know what they're going through, and hurt people. And I believe that, but there's a fucking line. And I just feel like people have been testing me, us, our family, like for a while, and it's like ramped up again recently. And I'm just like, why? Like there's so much, I just don't understand people like that full of hate. You know, and I, you know, you were just talking about how positive Mariko was through all that, and she not positive because she was not positive by any means, but she was kind.
Right. Yeah, that goes back to my point
Yeah.
regarding that. Like and I always say the same thing too. You never know what people are going through, and that's true. Like people have bad days, and sometimes life sucks, and you know, you might have a waiter that's an asshole, for example, and you're just like, well, you don't know what he's dealing with at home. But when that's why I say that, you know, she was. You know, it was inspirational to see in a way because she had every right, you know. And so when you see somebody like that, excuse me, who's going through such horrible stuff and can still treat everybody with such kindness, you know, it's like, well, I definitely don't have any excuse not to be at least nice to people.
Yeah. Like,
you know?
and just like, even when someone's like hateful to me, like, I found like, and then I like have surprised myself, like I'm not hateful back. You know, like I'm going to defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, I mean, kindly. Like I just don't have any energy for like toxic, hateful, disrespectful, mean. I'm just like, why? Like, and you know, like I'm like giving myself a pep talk here, you know, for this weekend, you know, just if I run into this mean person again, you know, and I'm just like I said, there's a line, you know.
Yeah.
I might end up on an episode of Snapped because I'm just like tired of it. It's just like, you know, I try to treat people how I want to be treated. Like even when they're calling me every name in the book, I'm just like, sorry you feel that way, you know, and I try to move on, but there's a line, and I feel like my bullshit meter is topped out at the top.
Whew, you on one today?
I am. I'm on it. You know, like just like cuz like look at what Mariko's going through.
Yeah.
Like what is why? I just don't get it. And that's why I say I give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, oh, they're probably having a bad day, one off. Nah. It comes again and again. I'm just like,
I think handling everything like the way you're saying it, partially when you've been through a lot too, which, you know, we've gone through some things in the past so many years, right? A few years or whatever. You kind of, at some point, or at least I did, like I realized that, you know, the hate and anger and all that kind of stuff that you could very easily and justifiably feel and act towards certain people, it's exhausting. Like I
don't have energy for it.
Right. That's my point. It's more exhausting and draining to have that kind of hate and jealousy and whatever it is, like like manifest in drama a lot of times. And like, I just, you know, partially for me, past few years, just being so damn busy trying to, you know, work, you know, do a business and build stuff and whatever, all the things that I'm doing, raise a family, all that kind of stuff. It's like, I'm just so busy and tired, you know, from that. I don't have the energy to deal with drama or negativity or hate or whatever. I just can't. It's too draining. Like, it's so much easier to just be like, well, whatever, and move on.
Yeah. I just refuse to have people like that in my life. And there are some people in our life that we've dealt with that recently, but I'm also talking about like strangers, I guess kind of stranger, like people that we have to be around, you know, and strangers too, like you say, waiters, but like I've had it, you know, and I just want to see people win and happy, like strangers, like people, our family, friends, like there is just not a hateful, like I just don't think that way, you know. I just want to see everybody win. Like there's no jealousy. There's, you know, I'm like happy. I want to see everybody like do good and everybody be happy. I want to see everybody's kids like succeed and.
Yeah, well, that's why you feel that way. That's why you feel that way.
But maybe it's because we've been through a lot of trauma too, and death and cancer and just traumatic events, like since 2021, really. Mm-hmm. You know, like that. None of this shit matters. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like it doesn't matter. You know.
Yeah.
What matters is, and you realize who matters during those events too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think too, like, you know, you feel that way because, you know, you realize that people who act like that, they have jealousy or resentment or anger or frustration or whatever. And that's why they, you know, whether it's easy to admit or not for them, that's why they don't want to see other people win and things like that. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like when it comes to other people, like, you know, even something as like basic as like other YouTubers or somebody who quote unquote competition, like
I don't even feel that way.
I don't feel that way at all.
There's space for everyone.
Exactly.
Like I don't feel like that. I want
like every, you know, smart home YouTuber
to
or
win,
tech, whatever, like to do great. Like, and if I can help them in some way, then I'll do. There's a fly buzzing by my ear. You know, I'll do whatever I can, like if I can to help them. I want to see everybody succeed. There's plenty of room for everybody. And when you realize that too, when they succeed, you know, you can all kind of build each other up. Like that's the kind of people you want to be around. Like, because
not life sucks.
It's all contagious, whether it's negativity or positivity, success, all that stuff. Like definitely the toxic stuff is contagious. And, yeah, man, there's just no room for it.
Well, we're too old. And like, I think that's like,
we're like, not that old.
Okay. Well, I feel old, but like, you know what I'm referring to, I guess, but I just don't feel like I don't feel like anyone's like ever spoken to me like I've been spoken to in the last year. You know what I mean? Like it's been like, it was like next level shit. Like it's almost like you can't even believe this shit's like really happening, you know? Yeah. Like I would never, I don't know. I've just never been talked to like that or about like that or other things like that. It was just very intense. And it almost, you just like laugh. You almost like have to laugh. I mean, it pisses me off too.
Yeah.
But then it, like, once it settles in, it's just like, it's just laughable. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
I love Mariko. I'm so ready to be back on this run of the streets with her. I know she's ready to, you know, let her hair down, you know, per se. And just ready to
Bad
like,
choice of words.
well, I know, it's funny. She'll laugh at it. You know, just know she's ready to like feel back to herself.
Yeah,
You know, this has been really hard on her body. I'm like worried about her today. She had to go get her final shot. She's probably like going to go in the next hour. I'm just really worried about her body because she had 12 rounds and it was Red Devil. It was like the worst of the worst. Most people don't get that many of that medication that I've seen. So anyway, people, be diligent. I would say if I could give anyone advice would be to advocate for yourself and to keep up with like blood work. There's even like, you know, cancer marker blood work you can like pay for. It'd be worth it to catch it early. Change things where you can. We use the Yuka app, you know, free plug for Yuka. You can scan your food and makeup and laundry, everything and anything, and just see what is in it, if it's endocrine hormone disruptors or if it's actually cancer. You know, you're not going to be perfect and live a perfect life, but you can try to be clean, I would say.
Yeah. One thing that I think is sort of related, but sort of off topic too, is like, I think it's crazy. There's been this like trend. I don't think it was happening when you were, I've never been a little girl. So
Are you
can't-
sure?
I'm pretty positive. So I can't say, but there's this trend now with young girls. I mean, as early as like 7, 8 years old, where they're getting into all these like beauty products. And it's like, it's almost like, you know, getting the Pokemon cards or something like that. These girls are all about.
Well, girls have always loved makeup. So when it wasn't
always loved
skincare, it was
but
makeup.
I mean, I'm talking like, yeah, you like doing makeup and stuff and acting like a big girl or whatever. But like now it's like certain brands, like little kids as early as like
Skincare is what
7,
you're
8
referring
years
to.
old. Yeah. Like I guess
Skincare.
skincare stuff, but there's like certain brands that they want to get and certain editions and all this stuff of freaking. It's like, why does an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old, 15-year-old need like 5 different things that they're putting on their face, you know, for their nighttime routine? It's insane. And it's somehow become this like popular thing.
Macy gave all her stuff away to her friends. I mean, she's like on board, scared the heck out of her too.
I think it was.
But she doesn't do a lot of skincare. She has a
doesn't now,
moisturizer, but she did use sunscreen, which is bad.
I think it was cool. What I was going to get to was how I think we were down on vacation somewhere, and maybe in Florida recently, and I think she got a sunburn, and me and her went to like CVS or something to buy aloe. And, you know, I was using the Yuka app, and I think I kind of showed you guys that a while ago because I've been trying to eat clean and stuff for a while now. And she has gotten really into it, and she still eats like a kid, you know, most of the time, but she tries to do well. And we were in the store, and she started scanning like, I guess it was like aloe and stuff like that for a sunburn, but she was scanning different like skin products, and I was like, I don't know if that'll work. She's like, no, hey, you can scan you can scan all kinds of stuff, not just food. And so she like taught me that, but she was scanning all these, and like every single one of them had some sort of like carcinogen in it or whatever, according to the app. But there was one that we found that didn't. And I was like, all right, well, that's pretty cool. I learned something. But then I thought that was pretty cool that she's kind of conscious of that, you know, and just.
Yeah. I wish Kobe would be.
It just sucks that, you know, you have to kind of think like that now, at least in the US, man, because there's so much crap. Like, I mean, if you can just eat just stuff like straight from God to us is the best way, but it's really hard to do. But
yeah, because you got to do organic.
Cut out all that processed stuff. Even fruit and vegetables
has to be organic.
You know, is
because the chemical
processed in some way.
The chemical they spray on the non-organic stuff is a carcinogen.
Yeah.
So and most people can't afford organic, right? I mean, and I try to buy it if I can, but it doesn't always look as good, you know. And so sometimes you can't. Like, again, you can't live a perfect life, but I am proud of Macy for like doing that, I mean, I changed everything. Scared the
Well, that's
crap out of
one of
me.
the reasons, among others, though, that I just want to eat just meat as much as
Yeah.
possible. I want to get. We've talked about this before, but I want to get a freezer, a standing deep freezer for that new garage we got
Full
set
of
up.
meat.
Yep, and just fill it up with meat. I want to go to a local farmer
Oh my
and
God.
buy like a half cow, or go in with a friend or something, and just fill that sucker up. Because I've heard too that when you buy meat from a local farmer, buy a half cow or something like that, that it's just like you can tell the difference, both in the way it
Be
looks,
interesting.
tastes, and everything. So
Well, organic looks different
Yeah.
than, it's not red. It's almost like purple. We can get a magnet for the front of the freezer that says, "We have the meats."
you got too excited about that.
I want to hear you say it. I thought you were going to repeat it.
What's that? That's Arby's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't eat Arby's.
I would eat Arby's right now.
I think we'll save some of these hot takes maybe for next week that I want to get into, like some marriage and financial stuff. So let us know. I have some hot takes that from the internet that I wanted to cover. Let us know if you guys have any questions about like finances or marriage or any of that kind of stuff, and we'll try to answer in an upcoming podcast. We do have one question we're going to get to, but first today, let me tell you about the sponsor of this podcast, and that is Aqara. They make incredible smart home products that are affordable. Everything from smart locks to door sensors to window sensors, temperature sensors, thermostats now, cameras, pretty much you name it. All of it works with Apple HomeKit. They work with Home Assistant, pretty much any smart home ecosystem as well. And like I said, they're affordable. I will say that their water sensors saved the day here in the Watley house this past week. Unfortunately, we ended up having to spend a little more money. Well, we weren't planning on spending any money on our AC unit, but the water sensor triggered at 3 something in the morning. Why does it always happen at like 3 in the morning? Like smoke alarms, all these things, it's always like 3 in the morning. But anyways, the water sensor that was in the attic, the Aqara water sensor, triggered at 3 in the morning. So I got up really early the next day, and I did just snooze it and went back to bed.
Yeah, of course you did.
I figured they could wait till
Don't
the
worry, let
morning.
it pour through the ceiling. No big deal. Didn't even get up to check.
No. So I did get up super early, checked it first thing, and we have a drip pan in there, and there is a built-in sensor for the unit that when it, fills up, it will trip that whole unit to shut off. But the problem is it takes a lot of water and a long time for it to actually trip that sensor. So I put an Aqara little $15 water sensor in there, and essentially it caught this, excess water way sooner than I would have caught it otherwise. It would have probably been too late. There would have probably been some water damage. That tray would have probably been overflowing with water, and it would have been a nightmare, which we've actually experienced in the past, which is why I put a water sensor in there now. So anyways, I tell you that just to say these water sensors are amazing. Everybody should get some.
Like if you could recommend one cheap thing.
Yeah,
water damage is awful because it's mold.
We've said it before, but yeah, I think everybody, whether you're into smart home stuff or not, get you an Aqara hub. You can even get one of the camera hubs, and you can connect the water sensors to it if you don't want or need another hub. But you can put these water sensors all throughout the house, and they will alert you when there's a water leak probably way sooner than you would know otherwise, and potentially and likely save you a lot of damage when it comes to water damage. So yeah, big fan and advocate of that, and they are the sponsor of the podcast, like I said. So thank you, Aqara, for sponsoring this podcast. I'll put links to everything in the show notes. Guys, go get some water sensors if you haven't already. Highly recommend. Okay, let's get to our question, and then we'll do some wife-approved tech. I want to see how you feel about a couple things. But first, we got an anonymous question, which is kind of relevant, I guess, from today's topic earlier in the conversation. Do you believe in a higher power? Is the question. And they follow up to say, is that important to the both of you, or does it influence your decisions as a couple or parenting? I'll let you start.
I mean, yes. Of course, I believe in a higher power. Something made us, right? I'm not going to say that like I never struggled with it. Like growing up as a kid, I think I was just like, what? I struggled with it, but I think, as you get older, you have to just understand that something put us here. It wasn't the big bang and a spark and, you fell out of the sky. So yeah, I believe in that. I believe in a higher power. I hope there is, because I want to see, like our loved ones that have moved on. And I just love life so much. Like, I don't want it to be over. And so, they say, like, it's not over and this is just like the beginning. So I really hope and believe that. I think, why not? I mean, the Bible and Christianity, no matter what denomination you are, is really just to be a good person and teach others about like God or the higher power. To share it, to speak it, and what does it hurt? Like, if it's not real, what, you were just a better person, and we're kind to people, and I think it does influence how I parent, and how I treat people. Back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, just when someone's hateful for you, again, that's not my first reaction, is to be hateful back, and I think that's most people's reaction. I always try to be like kind. I will defend myself like eventually. But I think it does impact, parenting and life in general,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I would pretty much mimic what you said there. I think everybody struggles with faith and stuff at some point in their life, if not continuously. But yeah, I feel the same way. It does influence decisions in parenting for sure. I've always wanted to, well, I was raised going to church, different churches. We moved around a lot. I think you were too, from your dad's side, at least. And, I always wanted to at least give my kids that foundation, so that they are at least aware of it. They'll get to the point where they make their own decisions and stuff like that.
We pray, like at dinner and stuff. We always have done that.
Yeah.
Growing up, we always sat down and had dinner, tried to. It got harder when they got older.
Right. Yeah. That was always like a dedicated family time that I thought was important, especially in our busy lives. We tried to always at least come together and sit down for dinner every night, especially as they were younger and getting older and stuff. But yeah, so it definitely does influence parenting. Like I said, I've always wanted to at least, we've never been like the best, quote unquote, best churchgoers or best Christians, if you want to rate it that way. So I have thoughts and feelings, I guess, on that maybe, but I don't think that's necessarily the most important, but I do think it's important in my family to raise our kids, at least familiar with it, understand it, and yeah,
well,
so that's
to
something,
believe, accept
that's
it.
something we've always done. And I remember, that's something my dad's always told me, both my parents, but my dad always told me. And I remember a little side story here. I was probably like early 20s or something, and I was talking to him, and I remember like, I think I was just like, I don't want to say lost, but like just struggling with stuff. I think I was like, I partied a lot. I think it was one of those times where I did some substances and stuff where I'm trying not to go into too much detail here, for the kids that might be watching. I don't think there's any kids watching, but
who cares? Maybe it was scare the hell out of them.
Yeah, I did some things, partied a lot. And I remember just getting so messed up, intoxicated and stuff, doing drugs and things like that, that, it kind of scared me for a minute. And I remember having a talk with my dad afterwards, and, he kind of referenced that, like growing up, he was like, you build that foundation. And, cause there was a point where I was just like, started praying, And
I think I was there for that.
Yeah, right. But maybe that'd be a story for another day. But yeah, he was like, when you have that foundation, even if you stray in life and stuff, like you at least know where to go back to, you know, when you get to that point, if you get to that point. And I don't know, that was something that kind of stuck with me. So
yeah,
something I try to put in my kids at least, so they know, you know where to go. And
I just get so turned off by church sometimes, like certain churches, it's happened forever. And I think it's like the commercialization of like these, and I'm not good with like terms. I'm probably going to use like the wrong terms, but like the common, popular, like non-denominational, which I like, you know, in general, but they've just like commercialized it, and just like these pastors are like, I hate to say this, God forgive me. Some of these pastors are like a joke, you know, and like their messages are just so like stale, and like, and then some of the people. And so like I get turned off like super, super easy. And I feel like, and I haven't even shared this with you, so this podcast is good. I've been feeling like a pull to like go back to like my roots.
Like a more traditional
like
church.
Traditional, like I grew up in the Catholic church, and after that I was like Methodist, and my dad, you know, grew up Catholic, and then we moved, and a lot of my family is still Catholic on that side. And I just remember the mass, and like it's like deep. It's like real church, you know, like so I just want to hear. And again, I like some of these churches are great and they preach off the Bible, and I think that is important in any church. You want them to do that, but like some of these pastors, man, I mean, they almost make me laugh on stage. Like they're just so ridiculous, and the props, like I just can't.
Well,
I get like turned off.
It's like anything in life. There's good and bad.
Yeah,
you know?
there is, but like I'm feeling a pull to go back to like really like more traditional stuff. I mean, when I go into a traditional church and I like hear the organs, and it happens sometimes in like with some of the songs, like in like, you know, one of the churches we've been going to, you know, I'll get like goosebumps or I'll cry, you know, but like when you probably haven't been to like a Catholic service, but when you go into a service like that, it's like emotional immediately. It's different.
Yeah. Well, I'm open for it, you know, or
but we're about to go to a small church. I don't even know what denomination that is, but we're going to a different church Sunday, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And maybe I need to be at a smaller church.
Well, I think,
I
said, there's good and bad. I've had, like I said, I went to a bunch of churches growing up, and I did, you know, kind of go through. There were times where
it was the Baptist ones. I'm just gonna say it. It was every bad experience I had as a kid was Baptist.
Well,
but I'm thinking about trying a Baptist church.
Again, there's good and bad with everything. So I'm sure there's some great ones. But, you know, I did have experiences through churches that kind of turned me off from, never turned me away from God, but definitely turned me off from like church. And more than that probably is just the people. I remember there was, you know, and maybe part of it was just being young and whatever, rebellious and things like that. But I remember just never really feeling like I belonged sometimes in certain churches. And that could have been on me. I don't know. But I just remember feeling that way. And just like churches and pastors, the people and congregations, there's good and there's bad. Like there's a lot of Christians that give Christians a bad name and, you know, and turn a lot of people off from church or even from God, which is really unfortunate. But, you know, you just have to realize that, you know, that the people, all of it is not the same necessarily, you know.
I want to share something to the person even that asked about the higher power. Like maybe you struggle with it. Maybe you don't believe in it. Like, just to be clear, we respect that. Like, but I will say, like, just as far as a higher power, maybe not God or Jesus, do some research on the near-death experiences. There is a particular, I think there might be a podcast, but there's a like organization that has done like a lot of rigid hundreds and thousands of cases. It's so fascinating. Like if you can Google that and go find the company that researches that near-death experience. I won't ruin it for you, but basically they have a very strenuous vetting process. Like this isn't people just like that have made up things. They can tell if you're full of crap. Anyway, almost every person, and this is just me summarizing, experienced that, you know, that died and then came back. and they have to prove that happened. They saw the same
Very,
things.
very similar
Very,
experiences.
very
Yeah.
similar. And so like, even if you don't believe in God, like, or Jesus or whatever, just the higher power
Something
thing.
else.
There's
There's something else.
something in somewhere else. These people, one thing I'll just spoil is they all said that they were like watching over, like, they were watching their loved ones like over them, and they remembered things the nurses and doctors were saying. So they were like, their spirit was above them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just get goosebumps.
Yeah,
So please go research that.
It's a whole rabbit hole. You can go down those like near death experiences. It is fascinating. And a lot of times these people would be aware of stuff that happened like miles away, and there's no way they would, it's just really interesting.
Well, they were aware that things that were happening, like when people were working on them.
I saw this reel, I think it was like this morning, where a guy was talking about, he used this analogy where he's like, there's two babies, in the womb, and one of them is like, what do you think's out there? What do you think's after this? Talking about, obviously babies can't talk in the womb, but if they could or whatever, it's just an analogy. So what do you think's after this? There's nothing after this, right? I mean, this is it. Like we're in this womb or whatever. This is life. It's like, well, I think, what if we get out and, I heard that you eat with your mouth and, and you walk around on your legs and all this kind of stuff. And of course, if all you know is just living inside of a womb, you're fed through an umbilical cord and all this kind of stuff. And what, did I say that wrong?
No, I'm just wondering what the hell you're watching. Keep going.
Oh no. Well, it's an analogy for life and afterlife. And so like, obviously the one baby's like, that's crazy. Like there's nothing after this, but the whole point is like, that's all and they can't understand. I think too, like humans, we don't
use all of our brain.
There's something we just can't understand. We're only designed to understand as much as we understand, and yeah, I think like I do think there's definitely something else.
I hope so.
After this, I mean, I
want to live forever.
It kind of makes sense to me. But it's always something that's super interesting and kind of fascinating. Sometimes
just
scary
hope
to think about.
Well, it's just having hope and, again, that you can see your loved ones and like, I just want to be able to get in if there is something, so I do try to like live that way. I'm not a perfect person. But I try to live like that,
Yeah. Well, one thing is for sure, there is only one life here on this earth. So you might as well live it the best you can. Try to enjoy it as much as you can and try to treat other people as well as you can. And, maybe make somebody else's ride here on life a little bit better.
Yep.
That's the way I see it.
I totally agree.
Wife approved or not, we're going to switch it up totally. And we're going to talk about some tech.
I can't believe I freaking cried again. And you almost cried. Your lip was quivering.
Was it? It's hard for me, like, to talk about that.
I know.
I'll
you're going to cry again?
I'll do it again. I don't want to talk
Look,
about it.
Mariko, I don't know if she's ever seen you emotional. She's going to be like,
Not many people have.
Yeah.
Not many people have. I remember when all that happened, Macy said, she said that was the first time she ever saw me cry.
Yeah, that was.
All right, moving on before I cry. Wife approved tech or not? I love my tech, so we're gonna end here on this. Smart locks, wife approved or not?
Wife approved, but not if they don't have a keypad, period.
Okay, wife approved, but they must have a keypad.
Yes, absolute must.
Fingerprint sensor?
That's fine.
Required or not?
Yes, now.
Yes.
But if I didn't know about the fingerprint sensor, I would have just said keypad.
Okay, but now that you know about the fingerprint sensor.
Yeah, but I still want a keypad in case that doesn't work, right? I need a backup because I've been locked out. We all know. A couple times.
Yeah, but not when there's a keypad or a fingerprint sensor, right?
No, it was when there was a keypad too. It died. He didn't change the batteries. Imagine that.
That was that one. Yeah, okay. We talked about that already.
Yeah, he hit ignore on that battery notification.
Past episode.
Like he did on the leak thing.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah. Well, that was not entirely my fault, but go back and watch the past episode if you want to go deep on that whole lockout story. Okay, wife approved or not, motion sensors.
Where do we have motion sensors? Because I really don't know. So then I could tell you if I like it. The laundry room. It's working faster. Maybe.
Yeah.
Did you just mess with it?
I
Because it was
tweaked-
slow this week.
Yeah, I tweaked it a little bit after you said
When?
something. I made it a little more sensitive. I don't know, a few days ago maybe.
I mean, I like it. No, I would. Where else is one? Say the kitchen and it's going to be denied because that made me nuts.
So motion sensors is a touchy one because that's all you basically just use motion sensors for automations. So,
Oh no. I know what you're scared to bring up. That's why you're like
what?
the bedroom.
I'm not making that face.
The bedroom.
No, not the bedroom. I mean, I did put some
Yeah,
motion
you did.
sensors in there. Yeah, I did, but I'm not referring to that necessarily.
Yeah,
I've
no,
got
denied.
no motion sensors.
No,
I've
because
got, let's see, some that I use. I don't use a whole lot actually, because they are difficult to get right for everybody in the house, the automations. But I did use some Aqara motion sensors for the bedroom automations that I've been working on. I use, I'm testing out one right now. That's a really awesome one. It's actually in the bedroom too, but it's been working really well. So I'm happy about that. I'll share more about that on the YouTube channel, hopefully very soon. It's actually a presence sensor, so it can detect presence versus just motion. The technology on how it works is a little different.
Great.
But yeah, I've got one, like there's one that actually triggers the iPad to wake up that's on the wall.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
No, mine, really?
I'm having to cut it on every day, and I hit the unlock button and not working.
I did just change the app that I'm using, so maybe.
Yeah, and I didn't know what app you were using, so I had to feed the dogs through Home Assistant today. It looked totally different than whatever you're using.
I was wondering why Home Assistant was pulled up on.
That's all I know. Like, once you train me, I'm like a dog. This old dog can't learn new tricks. You know, you were like, all right, we're not using the Home app anymore. I'm using Home Assistant. And so iPad's not coming on.
So that was just for the wall-mounted iPad.
Yeah.
Is the only use the Home app for everything else. But I had it's just for my dashboard on the wall-mounted iPad. But yeah, I switched it. I've gone back and forth and used different apps.
I can't keep up.
Yeah, but I have another one on there now that I've been
What are
using.
you using now?
It's the Homey app as I switched to that. But
Okay. Well, Home Assistant, the feed the dog still worked.
yeah, it does. It all runs through that, so that'll work. Okay, so motion sensors
denied.
is kind of in the
No,
middle.
it's denied.
Denied.
Hate those
no
stupid
motion
things.
sensors. Okay, not wife approved. All right, last one. Wife approved or not? String lights. Smart string lights. Like patio lights.
Approved. I like them. I like the way, I wish they could make them look better. Like, I like the non-smart look, like the Edison. Like, it just looks like it's glass. It's pretty. I feel like the smart light bulbs, they look kind of cheap.
Even the ones we got out there now, the Nanoleaf ones.
I mean, they're the best that I've seen.
the best looking ones.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I do. So wife approved. They need to come up with a way to make them look
More like traditional
classy.
ones.
Yeah, classic.
One thing you could do, which we used to do, if you don't care about color, which sometimes I do like to have color out there, changing the colors, but you can just use traditional ones and plug in a smart outlet.
Yeah.
And then you can just turn them on and off that
Yeah.
way. So
Yep.
that's one route, and you can use traditional ones. Okay, so approved,
Yes.
and it's nice to be able to use them with your phone or turn them off and on. You never do.
I never do.
You always forget, and I have to turn them off if anything.
I'll remember. Oh my God. You know what that reminded me of?
What?
When I ran into the road sign yesterday. I didn't hit it, but my chin just hit this microphone, and then I had a flashback to like turning my nose and the road sign touching me, and I was looking at you.
Yeah, we
through the
were
road sign.
downtown, and she was kind of in. Well, you weren't in La La Land. You were kind of looking back, trying to talking.
We're talking about parking. We were looking for the parking zone.
To a road sign. It was glorious.
Thank God I was not. I know. Like, thank gosh, I really didn't walk into it. It would have split because it was on the.
Stop hitting the microphone.
Sorry. It was on the point, like the edge of the sign. Like, it would have split my nose in half. Like, if I really walked into that thing hard. It wasn't like the flat side. It was the corner.
It was the side of it. You almost.
That
could have been.
It was like this, and I had either eye looking at you because I was like, "Shane,
but it
oh
did
my
stop
God!"
you in your tracks, and you kind of like bounced back.
Yeah, like I
pretty
threw my
funny.
head back. Yeah, it was bad.
All right. Well, so string lights are approved. That's a good one. That was one of the first things in this house. You remember that?
Yeah, that's the first thing you did for me. That I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I was like, she's
You buttered
giving
me up.
She's giving me a hard time about all this tech that I want to do. she wants some patio lights. All right, I'll get some patio lights. I'll just make them smart so then I can have my automations and stuff. So that's how we did it. Cool. All right. Well, that's it for today. We were all over the place once again.
Per usual.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do us a favor, if you're enjoying these podcasts, leave us a review over on Apple Podcasts. We would greatly appreciate that. You can also subscribe on YouTube. We would love that. We're trying to get the numbers up over there. So check out the YouTube channel. Check us out on Apple Podcasts or just wherever you listen. Leave us a comment. Leave us a rating or review. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks again to Aqara for sponsoring today's podcast.
Yes, thank you for watching this episode of Caroline and Shane's therapy session. Come back next week for more.
Bye.
Bye.